Sports on Tap's high school football coverage is on every Monday night at 7:30 p.m. Watch live on YouTube and make sure to subscribe. Sports on Tap's high school football coverage is presented by Raymond Felton State Farm.
Have you compared insurance rates lately? Are you satisfied with your current insurance provider? If not, look no further than Ray Felton State Farm, a proud sponsor of Sports on Tap. For a free quote, call his office at 234-284-2996 or visit him online at rayfelton.com.
Whether you're hosting a corporate event, wedding, conference, concert, or any other special gathering, our comprehensive range of services will exceed your expectations and elevate your event to new heights. RRT Productions. We shoot, we edit, you win. Visit our website at www.rrt-productions.com.
We've got the experience, the passion, and the beach to make your event a smash hit. Whether it's a romantic wedding, a lively sports venue, or a rocking high school dance, Troutland Entertainment has you covered. Contact them at 330-414-4261 or email them at troutlandent@gmail.com. That's troutlandent@gmail.com.
It's all about the deal at Brunswick Auto Mart. Save big this month with deals like this. Don't miss the Make This the Summer event and lease a new 2025 Ram 1500 Night Edition Crew Cab 4x4 with heated side mirrors, parking sensors, backup cam, Apple CarPlay, and lane departure warning for just $319 a month. Brunswick Auto Mart. Car buying made truly simple.
This is the high school football recap show for playoffs presented by Raymond Felton State Farm Insurance. make sure to reach out to him. Check out his website, rayfelton.com, for home, life, auto insurance needs, amongst many other products that they are proud to offer out of beautiful Hudson, Ohio. My name is Ed Dick, alongside Rob Troutman, Josh Jeffy, Noah Jacobson, and Sean Duffy. We are live on our YouTube channel, Sports on Tab. Like and subscribe. Smash the notifications button. Get those notifications. We are about to go live on the air. Follow us on X at SOT Podcast for the live updates when we go out and cover games in the field. Our website is sportsontappodcast.com. That's where you're going to find the schedules, scores, and everything we have going on with our conferences. We are also on threads at SOT_podcasts. We're on Spotify at Sports on Tap, and follow us on Facebook at Sports on Tap. Questions, comments, concerns, or suggestions, send us a note at sportsontappodcast@gmail.com. Playoffs are here. Week 1 is done. We are into the regional quarterfinals, but we have a lot to talk about here. We have a packed show tonight. 3 guests that are joining us tonight instead of just the normal 1 or 2. So we want to highlight some of the teams that were successful in their first round matchup and are moving on to the second round. So we will be going over the recaps of Division 1, Region 1, Division 2, Region 5, Division 2, Region 6, Division 3, Region 10, and Division 4, Region 14. After that, at 8:05, we will have Olmsted Falls senior running back Logan Connelly joining us. After that, around 8:25-ish, we'll have junior wide receiver / running back / defensive back Tristin Hughes from Rocky River. At 8:45-ish, we'll be joined by Medina senior quarterback Beckett, Vogrin. And then we'll talk about the quarterfinal matchups and where we are going this coming week. So let's get to it. Division 1, Region 1. One of our games of the week was from this region. Noah was at that game. But being that we have a little bit of a flavor everywhere, this is mostly going to be I think this is mostly going to be a Noah production here. So Noah, Division 1, Region 1, Round 1. Take it away.
All right, thank you, Ed. We'll first start off with St. Ignatius, the number 12 seed. They took a fight against number 5 seed Perrysburg. Unfortunately, Perrysburg was able to get St. Ignatius, but what a battle this was in a 24-17 affair as Perrysburg moves on to the regional quarterfinals. Brunswick was taking on Massillon Jackson. This was the second year in a row these two teams match up in the first round of the playoffs. Give Brunswick a lot of credit. This was a very different game than last year's game, as Brunswick, they really put up a fight against Massillon Jackson. Unfortunately, Jackson would end Brunswick's season with a 24-17 victory. Brunswick's kicker, Vinny T. Teodora, what a season. Another season that he had for the Blue Devils. He had a 49-yard field goal, and he had punts of 72, 52, 49 yards, and he also consists of punts of into the kickoffs into the end zone. Brunswick quarterback Sean Barnett was 23 of 36 for 165 yards, 22 carries for 83 yards and a touchdown. Running back Eli Nichols had 13 carries for 36 yards and a touchdown. And wide receiver Anthony Gambo had 9 catches for 59 yards as Brunswick would fall to a 24-17 win, ending their season at 5-5. The number 11 seed, the Medina Bees, were taking on the number 6 seed, Strongsville Mustangs. And guys, what a shock this was, as Medina came in there to beat the 8-2 Strongsville Mustangs in that. What a game for Medina quarterback Beckett Vogrin, as he will be joined later in the show coming up later tonight. What a game that he had, 20-37 for 191 yards and 2 touchdowns. He also did have 17 carries for 66 yards. And what a night for his wide receiver he connected. Brian Wilcher, he had 11 catches for 111 yards and 2 touchdowns. Medina's Dylan Pay had a 75-yard interception return touchdown in this game. And with 26 seconds left in the game, John Nagel scored the game-winning touchdown to give Medina the game-winning lead with a 28-25 win. Strongsville's quarterback Jack Hassler was 9-16 for 148 yards and a touchdown. Strongsville running back Austin Tanalinski had 23 carries for 83 yards and 2 touchdowns. Strongsville's Colin Tobias had an 80-yard punt return touchdown in this game. Wide receiver Alex Espe had 2 catches for 49 yards and a touchdown. Wide receiver Brandon Alfred had 4 catches for 65 yards. Medina ran 66 plays for 278 yards, while Strongsville ran 55 plays for 300 yards, as Medina, the number 11 seed, would shock the 6th seed Strongsville with a 28-25 win to move on to the regional quarterfinals. And then last but not least was my featured game of the week in the first round of the playoffs was a 8 versus 9 matchup. The number 9 seed, the Cleveland Heights Tigers, were coming in to take on the number 8 seed Berea Mid-Park Titans. What a night for junior quarterback Dylan Papasek, who we had on the show last Monday night. 27-36, 437 yards, 7 touchdowns, guys. What a performance by this kid, and he's only a junior. And I can name so many juniors that this guy has connected to the wide receivers. Nick Reese, what a night that he had in this game. He had 8 catches for 139 yards, 3 touchdowns. Andre Alexander had 6 catches for 79 yards and a touchdown. Tyson Clay, 4 catches, 61 yards and a touchdown. Sophomore running back Xavier Harden had 20 carries for 124 yards, and he had a 10-yard receiving touchdown in this game. The Titans were totaled by 585 yards in this game. For Cleveland Heights, their quarterback LaMarcus Greenwood had 12 carries for 95 yards and a touchdown. Running back Elijah Harris had 18 carries for 93 yards and 2 touchdowns in this game, as Berea Mid-Park, for the 3rd consecutive year, would win in the first round of the playoffs with a 48-24 win against Cleveland Heights. I did speak to Coach Tom Hunick after the game, and quarterback Dylan Papasek with a big win against Cleveland Heights with a 48-24 win in this game. And that is the Division I, Region 1 recap in this game as we look at the schedule for the regional quarterfinals.
We'll do the quarterfinals here in a little bit, but great job with Division I, Region 1. What a shock. And we'll talk with Beckett Vogrin about this at 8:45 a little bit earlier with Medina. They have a penchant for pulling off upset offs, and this year is no different. The Brunswick-Massillon Jackson game, Brunswick got it to within 7. They tied the game at 17. A big play later, and unfortunately they weren't able to get over the hump there. And Cleveland Heights, nothing to shake a stick at there. They had a pretty good season, all things considered, and they got a lot of sophomores that are coming up in that realm, and big win for Berea Mid-Park as well. So great job with Division I, Region 1, Noah, and we'll certainly come back to you a little bit later, most specifically for the not only the schedule but also for some love from your alma mater with Beckett Vogrin coming up. All right, let's shift over to Division II, Region 5, and this has a whole lot of Suburban League natty involved. So, Josh, he's going to take it away for Division II, Region 5.
All right, thanks, Ed. We're going to start off with the 8-9 matchup, and a team we're going to become more familiar with over the next few years. Painesville Riverside, the number 8 seed, they fell to number 9 seed Youngstown Boardman, 38-28. In the other matchup, not in our coverage area. So just a reminder for everyone out there, we cover the Suburban League, the Cleveland West Conference, Greater Cleveland Conference, and the Southwestern Conference. So if we're skipping over some teams, you're like, well, why the heck you skip it over? That's why we focus on those 4 conferences. The other game in this region that pitted teams that not in our coverage area, Garfield Heights, number 6 seed, coming off of a 9-1 regular season. Former Cleveland Heights coach Max Stevens turning that program around. They fell to the 11th seed Green Bulldogs. I believe they're the Bulldogs, 21-6. That just kind of came out of my head, so I'm proud. Good effort there. So the 2 games that we are concentrating on, we'll start off with the number 5 seed Hudson Explorers. They hosted Willoughby South, who's the 12th seed. And for the 6th time this season, the 2nd time in as many games, the Hudson Explorers shut out their opponent. They win 27-0 in this game. Hayden Lipinski, the quarterback, had 2 touchdown passes. He only had to throw for 141 yards. Hudson, as a team, ran for 219 yards, led by Reno Fury, 112 yards. Our other guests that we had last week, Nathan Judy, on the offensive end, had 5 receptions, 54 yards. Hudson's defense did force 3 interceptions in this game as they will move on to play in the quarterfinals. The final game in this region pitted 2 Suburban Natty teams together. A great game, probably the best game in the region this past week. Number 7 seeded Nordonia. They hosted number 10 seeded Twinsburg Tigers. Now, these two teams played on October 3rd. The Knights came away with a 35-33 victory over the Tigers, and this game was just as competitive. In fact, it came down to Riley Edgehouse, the kicker for the Knights. He kicked a 30-yard field goal with 4 minutes and 24 seconds left in the game. That would eventually end up being the game winner. Nordonia never lost the lead. It was tied at one point, but they never did lose the lead in this game. And they were led by Connor Wapham, the running back and linebacker for the Knights. He had 32 carries, 201 yards, and a touchdown. Nordonia quarterback Stephen Faycolt had 109 yards passing, along with 68 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns. For Twinsburg, Dylan Fantone, 251 yards, 2 touchdowns. The running back Lucas Kinsland, 151 total yards, 2 touchdowns. And the receivers for the Tigers, J.D. Okuma, 68 yards receiving, and R.J. Ruffin also added 60 yards and a touchdown. A great effort by Twinsburg. I watched them the last couple of weeks of the regular season. They were playing well, had a tough game against Brecksville, but they were up to play this game. This is, even though it's a loss for them in the first round of the playoffs, I think this is a definite program builder for them. For Coach Salter, they're looking, to build that consistency of the program, as next year they will actually head over to the Suburban American Division with all the changes that'll be coming in the 26 season next year.
Yeah, absolutely. I talked with a very close observer of Nordonia, and he had nothing but positive things to say about Dylan Fantone and Twinsburg. He knows that that Twinsburg is going to be a force to be reckoned with, even though they're not going to be in the same conference anymore as far as American versus Natty. You can't say enough about Riley Edgehouse. I watched the 2 field goals he hit in the fourth quarter, and that's the difference. That's a difference that an elite kicker like Riley Edgehouse can shift there. Not to say that Twinsburg isn't, but just proof of concept with Riley Edgehouse. He's proved it time and time again over the course of the year. Josh, big win for Hudson as well against a game Willoughby South team. I'm not terribly surprised about Green defeating Garfield Heights. Green plays in a very rugged Federal League, and where Massillon Jackson also plays. So the third or fourth best team in that league is more than likely going to be just as good as a champion or a second place team in most other conferences. And lastly, Boardman has really shaken things up the last 2 weeks. They defeated 9-0 Canfield in the final game of the year to vault themselves into the number 9 seed. Canfield, despite the loss, was still number 1 in Division III Region 9. So defeating Painesville Riverside is not a stretch. So a lot of good stuff coming out of Division II Region 5, Josh. Great job there as well. All right, Division II Region 6. The game that had nothing to do with our conferences. Number 5, White House Anthony Wayne gets a 42-21 victory over number 12 seed Toledo Start. For my conference, the Valley Forge Patriots traveled to Toledo to take on number 7 St. Francis de Sales, and the Patriots come up a little bit short here by a count of 33-7. Not a whole lot on this game, unfortunately, being with it probably mostly because of the proximity. Quite a road trip from Parma Heights to Toledo. But the Patriots, they finished their season 5-6. And we'll see we'll talk about later where Francis de Sales goes. Damon Watts, tremendous career. What a great senior season he had. Sean Frank as well. So we'll see how Valley Forge reloads in 2026. All right, let's shift over. Let's go with Josh. Brecksville taking on Oregon Clay, and home game for Brecksville. Talk about this one.
Yeah, I mean, Brecksville, when they beat Twinsburg, the final game of the regular season, to actually win that number 8 seed and host the playoff game, they were excited. They were very pumped. And in this game, they came out and they showed it. They're the number 8 seed. They hosted the number 9 seed, Oregon Clay, and they came away with a 34-13 victory. The Bees got started with their running game and didn't stop all game. In the first quarter, it started off with Jacob Laterovich. He had 2 touchdown runs, one of 53 yards, and then one for 29 yards. Then it was Peter Schermonti of the Bees. He racked up 180 yards in this game, and he had 2 touchdowns. And not only Schermonti, how he is a weapon on the offensive end, he is also a very big weapon in the defensive backfield for the Bees. And that defense forced 3 interceptions of Clay quarterback Landon Eckelberry, the sophomore. He had a pretty decent game, 178 yards passing and 2 touchdowns, but it was not enough. Brecksville does move on with their 34-14 victory, well-earned victory for the Bees.
You can't understate the value of a home game, especially in the first round of the playoffs. Because Oregon Clay, that was not a close trip for them either. So when you're playing these first few rounds are home site games, and these regions are pretty expansive, and we've seen that here with Valley Forge having to go to Toledo and Oregon Clay coming to Brecksville. Speaking of which, shift over to Rob with Olmsted Falls, the number 6 seed, hosting number 11, Fremont Ross.
Yeah, Olmsted Falls in this game, a lot of offense going for the Bulldogs. And in this game, running back Owen Singleton, he needed just 71 yards to reach former running back Spencer Linville's 3,727 yards career rushing total. And in this game, Singleton had 7 carries for 148 yards and scored 3 touchdowns. And he now, in this game, stands at the top of Olmsted Falls' record book with 3,804 career rushing yards. That, according to the Morning Journal's Mark Perez Kraiwani, want to thank him for all that. He had all kinds of great stats with some of these teams. But 504 yards of total offense for Olmsted Falls, putting up 69 points in a 69-38 win over the number 11 seed Fremont Ross. And this is a game Olmsted Falls really couldn't be stopping. Their offense clicking on all cylinders. You look at Cam Pesh, he was 4 of 4 in this game for 47 yards and a touchdown. Running back, and here a guest coming up here at 8:05, running back Logan Connelly. He had 7 rushes, 195 yards and 2 touchdowns. Owen Radigan, 7 rushes, 81 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Charlie Krupka had a touchdown. Let's give credit to the Olmsted Falls offensive linemen, though. The left tackle, Aiden Rivera, left guard Charlie Matino, center Scott Draves, and right guard Nathan Scheffler. These guys, right tackle Matt Ianica, these guys paved the way really for the 504 total yards of rushing yards for the Bulldogs in this game. And realistically, the defense did give up 38 points. So they probably have to clean that up. And I know Coach Pace might not be happy at that, but I wasn't at this game, so it's tough to say if they got it, in the end here, because 69 points of offense for Olmsted Falls. This team is playing pretty well right now, and just an impressive win for the Bulldogs here as they will look into the round 2, and they'll have a familiar foe coming up.
Rob, I want to give you props. I think that might be the first time ever on the show that someone has said the name of the entire offensive line for a team. So I'm going to give you props on that one.
I know. I thought, you know what, when you put that many points up and have that many rushing yards, I mean, there were running backs. They send us the stats from Olmsted Falls. These running backs, 7 carries for 195 yards. I mean, that's pretty impressive, along with Owen Singleton with 7 carries for 148 yards. I mean, they were getting them in bunches, and they couldn't be stopped. So you got to give credit to the guys up front. Otherwise, there's no way that would happen. So appreciate that, Josh.
Yeah, Olmsted Falls, again, same thing we mentioned here, Fremont Ross. The not quite as long of a distance as some of the other schools had to travel, as Olmsted Falls is on more of the west side here, but you notice that the lower seed having to make a longer trip. Now in this case, Olmsted Falls was just punished Fremont Ross, the Little Giants, put up 38 points, but giving up 69. Just a great job by Olmsted Falls' offensive line, and I'm sure, as you mentioned, Coach Pace will clean some things up on the defensive end, especially as they go into their next battle there. All right, let's go to Division 3, Region 10. And the reason why we're not touching Division 3, Region 9 is none of our teams qualified. There are several teams in our coverage area in that region. As we get further on in the playoffs, we have a little bit more time with less teams. We'll probably more than likely end up touching on some of those regions that we have teams in. Just for now, we're focusing on the playoff teams only. So then we're going to skip to Division 3, Region 10, and Sean's going to take this one he's got Copley in there, and he was at the Rocky River Midview game. So Sean will recap Division 3, Region 10 for us.
All right, thank you, Ed. And we'll start off with a game that doesn't include our teams or my physical presence there. We'll start off with the number 6 seeded Toledo Central Catholic. And as Ed said many times, all roads run through Toledo Central Catholic, and they made sure to put everyone on notice with a 35-0 victory over number 11 seed Ontario. They move on to the quarterfinals. Number 7, Lima Shawnee hosted a previously covered team in Holy Name. They get a 19-10 victory over the Namers. Unfortunately, the Green Wave was unable to come up with a win there against Lima Shawnee, as Lima Shawnee does get a 19-10 victory over Holy Name. We'll start that. We'll go now to the number 8, number 9 seed matchup where St. Mary's Memorial Rough Riders hosted the Copley Indians, and the Copley Indians got some epic performances, guys, from their quarterback and wide receiver, namely Anderson Madden and Andrew McKnight. Anderson Madden threw for 342 yards in this game and 4 touchdowns. All 4 of those touchdowns were thrown to wide receiver Andrew McKnight, who finished the night with 10 receptions, 265 yards, and 4 receiving touchdowns in this game. And Copley's other touchdown came by running back, backing up Bryce Martin in this game, Ralakai Childs, who had a rush touchdown in this game. It's important to note here that Copley held an 11-point lead late in the third quarter, but the Rough Riders of St. Mary's were able to rally and come back to get a 36-34 victory. It's a heartbreaking loss for Copley, especially when you rattle off those stats that those guys had in that game, but it just wasn't enough as St. Mary's Memorial, the Rough Riders, they move on to the quarterfinals with a 36-34 victory. Copley does finish the year 7-4 overall. They are 5-2 in the Suburban League American Division, and their season, unfortunately, is over. My next game is my spotlight game. I attended the Rocky River Midview game, and I was treated to a very fantastic game on Halloween as the Rocky River was able to edge out Midview 20-15 in this game. And guys, this game was tight and a little bit sloppy, to be 100% honest with you. And when it comes to penalties and miscues, the game was tied 7-7 thanks to a Rocky River touchdown by Tristin Hughes, who will be a guest on our show later on tonight. His first touchdown of the night came on a 3-yard touchdown pass from Ryan Taylor to take the early 7-0 lead. Midview who was also plagued by penalties and miscues in the first half, got a Marcus McMahon touchdown from 10 yards out to tie the score at half 7-7. Rocky River would score the only touchdown in the third quarter thanks to a 25-yard touchdown run by none other than our guest tonight, Tristin Hughes, to take a 14-7 lead. It was then that Midview would respond very early in the fourth quarter with a 6-yard touchdown pass from Shea Williams to Zach Wallace. And in a bold move, Midview decided to go for 2 because this game was a very defensive game, thinking, hey, this may be the issue here. They do go for 2, and they convert. And with midway through the fourth quarter, we had a 14-15 game in favor of the Middies, and it was getting a little bit quiet there in Rocky River with the way the defenses were playing. The Pirates, Tristin Hughes, would score his 3rd touchdown of the night late in the fourth quarter on a 17-yard touchdown run. Rocky River also elected at this point to go for 2 to hopefully stretch that lead, and didn't want Midview to win this game on a walk-off touchdown. They were unable to convert that 2-point conversion, so the score was 20-15, and that's where things got a little bit tight for both teams. Midview did have opportunities in this game. It was very, very opportune for Midview. But again, penalties and a very, very game defense from Rocky River was able to ice this game for the home team and get a 20-15 victory capped off by a 4th down stop late in the game and an interception as Midview was driving very late in the game to go for a touchdown. Midview, who was led offensively by senior running back Marcus McMahon, who finished the game with 35 carries, 219 yards, and 1 touchdown. And he also scored on the 2-point conversion that they scored. Marcus McMahon would finish the season with 146 points total, which is second best season record in school history. He also finished with 1,340 rushing yards, 4th best in school history. Rocky River was led offensively by a wide receiver, and you might as well call him a running back at this point as well, Tristin Hughes. He had 11 receptions for 102 yards and a pass and a receiving touchdown. He also had 5 carries for 44 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. Midview finishes the season 5-6 overall. They were 2-5 in the Southwestern Conference, while Rocky River, with this win, moves on to the Division III Region 10 quarterfinals. Guys, it was a great night. It was a very eerie night, and I'm not saying that because it was Halloween, but it did have something to do with it, because it was just, there was a lot of angst in the crowd. They weren't happy with the penalties. They weren't happy with the play calling on some sides, but it was very, very interesting to watch two teams that maybe aren't as familiar with each other kind of feel each other out in the first half and then really rely on defense on both sides of the ball. I mean, there was, Midview's defense kept them in this game a lot more than they should have been. Again, if you're Rocky River, in this game, they had 3 separate touchdowns called back because of holding penalties, pass interference penalties, just really stuff that shot them in their foot. So you could have seen a situation where Rocky River could have ran away and hidden this game, but penalties and miscues and a good game, Midview defense was able to keep them in this game.
Hey, great job, Sean, for covering a nice battle between the CWC and the SWC. We've these two teams, they play teams that are very similar, to their opponents. So I'm not surprised it was a knockdown, drag out affair. But we'll certainly see. I imagine Coach Wells is going to impart upon his team about penalties and missed opportunities to be able to run away from games. In your words, in the playoffs, you can't afford to have touchdowns called back. Touchdowns got to be touchdowns, and there's no doubt that Coach Wells, I think, will prepare for that for their next battle, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. So thanks for covering that for both myself and Rob. Sean. All right, our last region we'll talk about is Division 4, Region 14. The games that do not include our coverage area. Number 5, Bellevue, with a 12-6 victory over number 12, Clyde. Number 6, Sandusky Perkins. This is the team we're used to seeing a lot of. They defeat Lorraine Clearview by a count of 61-7. That's a 6-11 matchup. Clear Fork took on Orville with a 35-28 victory. Shout out to my old college roommate Chad Teague, Orville Red Rider, Athletic Hall of Famer, amongst many other folks I went to college with and went to Orville. 35-28 for Clear Fork. Finally, Bay Village versus Cloverleaf. This is a rematch of Division 4 Region 14 from last year in the first round. Cloverleaf wasted 0 time. They jumped out to a 21-0 lead behind a 1-yard touchdown run by Isaac Smith and 2 touchdown runs by Ethan Gray. Bay countered with a 12-yard touchdown pass from junior quarterback Patrick Cleary to Ethan Sedovich and a 7-yard run by Rocco Hereditario. Hereditario has found himself kind of on the outside looking in with the type of offense that Coach Bigrig is running out in Bay. But he gets a touchdown here. The Colts countered then with a 89-yard touchdown or kickoff return for a touchdown by Ethan Gray. They got a turnover right away, and they cashed that in with a 20-yard touchdown pass from Isaac Smith to Elliott Jordan. That gave Cloverleaf a 35-14 lead. Things got nuts. After that, the Rockets tied it up with 3 consecutive touchdowns to end the third quarter. Touchdown runs of 1 and 5 yards by Cleary. And then Cleary hit Brody Beggs on a 61-yard touchdown to tie the game at 35. There are 4 touchdowns scored within a span of 2 minutes here, in between all of that. Now the Colts, we took the lead shortly thereafter with a 3-yard touchdown pass from Isaac Smith to Jimmy Tully. This was huge. On that last touchdown to Brody Beggs, there was an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on Bay. Cloverleaf chose to take the penalty on the kickoff instead of making Bay kick a longer extra point, and that paid off dividends because Bay was afraid to kick the ball off to Gray. Ball goes out of bounds, so Cloverleaf started with the ball at the 50-yard line of Bay, 50-yard line. They got a quick 39-yard run by Ethan Gray, and that set up that last touchdown. And Bay was unable to answer the bell. Cloverleaf gets their first playoff victory in school historay, and they're a Medina County team. So congratulations to Coach Voorhees and the Colts. Unfortunately for Bay and the CWC, Bay bows out at 6-5, and that'll do it for the careers of Rocky Hereditario and Charlie Rogers. I've been talking about them for a long time, it seems like, but unfortunately, Bay is eliminated. So Cloverleaf improves to 7-4, and we'll see who they are playing here in a little bit. All right, with that, we are going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we are going to have the first of 3 student-athlete interviews. When we come back, we will be talking with senior running back from Olmsted Falls, Logan Connelly, followed up by junior do-everything player from Rocky River, Tristin Hughes, and then senior quarterback from Medina, Beckett Vogrin. All right, you're watching Sports on Tap's coverage of the first round of the Ohio High School Athletic Association playoffs, presented by Raymond Felton State Farm Insurance. Stay tuned from aboard for our sponsors, and we will be right back.
Sports on Tap's high school football coverage is on every Monday night at 7:30 p.m. Watch live on YouTube and make sure to subscribe. Sports on Tap's high school football coverage is presented by Raymond Felton State Farm.
Have you compared insurance rates lately? Are you satisfied with your current insurance provider? If not, look no further than Ray Felton State Farm, a proud sponsor of Sports on Tap. For a free quote, call his office at 234-284-2996 or visit him online at rayfelton.com.
Whether you're hosting a corporate event, wedding, conference, concert, or any other special gathering, our comprehensive range of services will exceed your expectations and elevate your event to new heights. RRT Productions. We shoot, we edit, you win. Visit our website at www.rrt-productions.com.
We've got the experience, the passion, and the beach to make your event a smash hit. Whether it's a romantic wedding, a lively sports venue, or a rocking high school dance, Troutland Entertainment has you covered. Contact them at 330-414-4261 or email them at troutlandent@gmail.com. That's troutlandent@gmail.com.
It's all about the deal at Brunswick Auto Mart. Save big this month with deals like this. Don't miss the Make This the Summer event and lease a new 2025 Ram 1500 Night Edition Crew Cab 4x4 with heated side mirrors, parking sensors, backup cam, Apple CarPlay, and lane departure warning for just $319 a month. Brunswick Auto Mart. Car buying made truly simple.
Coverage of the high school football playoffs presented by Raymond Felton State Farm Insurance. You got to hear about him and all of our other fantastic sponsors just out of the break. Make sure you stick around after our show for another word from our tremendous sponsors. All right, we have the first of our 3 interviews coming up. After we will be talking with Tristin Hughes from Rocky River and Beckett Vogrin from Medina. Right now, we're very happy to be speaking with two-sport athlete, senior running back from Olmsted Falls, a huge victory this past week, and we'll talk to him about that. Logan Connelly joins us from Olmsted Falls. Logan, how are we doing tonight?
I'm good. How are you?
We're great. Thank you. This is the best time of year. High school football playoffs. It doesn't get much better than this. A big win for the Bulldogs over the Little Giants of Fremont Ross. Over 200 total yards. Lots of long carries on your from your side specifically. But talk about the game. Kind of kind of the flow of it, and preparing for a team that you're really not familiar with at all. So talk a little bit about the preparation for Fremont Ross and how you executed in the game.
Yeah, so we really just came into it. We wanted to really just be able to out-physical them. You know, they were a great opponent. They got some big guys inside. We knew that. So we really depended on our offensive line to push through and get us those rushing yards, because that's really all we have to do is just focus on them, and then let us make the cuts, let us make the big plays, and they just started for us. So it's really nice.
Logan, thank you so much for taking the time joining us, and congratulations on the win against Fremont Ross. You know, you had a great game. You had 215 total yards from scrimmage. You had 7 carries for 195 yards and 2 touchdowns. Not only you, but Owen Singleton had a great night. I feel like he's been setting records every single week for you guys. You know, he had a great night. He had 3 touchdowns. Talk about the running back combination between you and Owen Singleton, and what's it like being around that guy? I feel like he's breaking records every single week for you guys on the offensive side.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, me and Owen have been friends forever. It's just like a 1-2 punch. I feel like him up the middle and then me on the outside. It's like it just really helps us, just with the flow of the game.
Yeah, and Logan, I've been to some Olmsted Falls games this year. You know, I think one thing that impresses me is the fact that you and Owen play really well off each other. You're a back that kind of catches the ball out of the backfield a little bit, but then you're explosive with your running plays. You guys just have so many running backs back there. What's it been like so far this year, especially with the offensive line you have? Because you guys have played a lot together throughout the years. What's it like playing with some of your best friends and having such a successful season? And really, you guys are getting hot at the right time, obviously going into the playoffs here.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, we got all of our O-linemen returning from last year, so it was really just a great time because we knew in the offseason we needed to put on muscle, we needed to put on size, speed, and that's really what we did. We worked really hard, so it was just a great opportunity for us to come out and have a great season.
Logan, it's interesting. You rarely see a lot of points scored in a playoff game, especially a first-round game against 2 teams that don't really, as Ed said, don't really know each other. But to put up 69 points in a game, you know, from an offensive side of the ball, especially given how you did it and how your team did it. Can you talk a little bit about how much fun it was? I mean, just on your side, obviously, you know, it just seems like every play you guys dialed up was chunk plays or scoring plays. I mean, to score that many points in a football game, you know, you almost have to score you have to score a point almost a minute in order to get 69, 70 points in a game. Can you talk a little bit about what the feeling was in the huddle and on the sidelines in that game?
Yeah, it was just really fun. Just going out there our last time on our home field, going out there, coach drawing up the perfect plays for us to just go out there and just put our best foot forward. All the gaps were open, so it was really just a great time.
He's on mute, folks.
I did it. It's been a while.
Week 11, and he's still on mute.
Man.
Oh, my bad. That's my bad. Bad effort on me. We'll get better. I promise. But Logan, like I was saying, but nobody heard me. You mentioned having being on that home field. You know, we kind of mentioned it during our recaps that in this first round, hosting that first round playoff game is very important because you have a team that's traveling some distance, like a Fremont Ross coming into your house. do you see that as an advantage when you're playing against a team, especially one that you haven't faced all season?
Yeah, of course. I mean, we knew that they weren't just gonna come here like an hour away and just lay down. We knew they were gonna have to come here, put up their best foot forward, put up a fight. But I think it is really good for us because we don't have to travel anywhere. We stay at home, we do our job, we come out and we just have fun and put our best foot forward. So yeah.
You know, Logan, looking at the season this year, it seemed like there was a turning point for you that something clicked during the season because you guys really started to put up a lot of points. Your defense, I thought, was playing at all-time high. You know, that Midview game, I was at that game, and your defense was forcing a lot of turnovers and converting those into points. I know you and Owen Singleton had a big game that game as well. What was the turning point this season that your offense just seemed to really click and you guys started to put up a lot of points, whether, obviously Campeche can pass the ball, but he really doesn't need to in certain instances, and when he does, he can throw pretty deep. When in the season did your offense really start to gel and click, do you think, this season?
Yeah, at the beginning of the season, we had a couple tough losses, which I think really brought us together, really made us decide that we wanted to push forward and really decide that we need to lock in, get our minds right, get our bodies right, and just get ready for the postseason, get ready for the second season coming up. So yeah, just those tough losses really brought us together, made us dedicated and ready for the next fight.
We're talking with senior running back from Olmsted Falls, Logan Connelly. Logan, with that, talk about the strength of your schedule. I mean, you guys play a really tough conference to begin with, and then you went on a Greater Cleveland Conference jaunt through Menor, Brunswick, and Straunsville. Talk about that. Your strength of your schedule throughout the season and how that helped you prepare for a playoff game against Fremont Ross.
Yeah, Coach Luga just set up those games because he really wanted us to get that early fights, get early getting those playoff type of games. So that we really got into those, put up our best foot, and just played as best as we could, and that really just pushed us forward, helped us be ready for the playoff games that we're gonna have.
Yeah, with a tough loss against Menor to start the season, and we obviously seen what Menor has done, and Brunswick and Straunsville, you got victories over them, and those two ended up being very formidable opponents as over the course of their season. Now, we weren't planning on talking about this until a little bit later, so we'll kind of leave that as it goes. But you're a two-sport athlete. You play basketball in addition to football. You're also a two-way athlete. You play defense on top of playing offense. Josh usually likes to throw some of these questions out, so I'll honor him in this respect. You do have a pick six, if I have that correct.
Yep.
So, what's more exciting to you, scoring a touchdown on offense or scoring a touchdown on defense?
I would say defense because it's not normal. I mean, it rarely happens, so I think it's more exciting. I feel like.
I never had the opportunity. That sounds fantastic. I had a few interceptions in my day, but never took one to the house. And Coach Pace, I think, will be really happy with that answer.
Yeah.
Noah.
Logan, you guys got a regional quarterfinal matchup going up against no stranger. You guys got the Avon Eagles once again for the 5th consecutive year. I know you guys are really familiar with them, not just in the regular season, but also in the playoffs and that. But without giving too much away, what are some of the things that you have seen so far from Avon, whether it was the regular season, and how it is preparing you guys to see these guys once again coming up in the playoffs this week?
Yeah, I mean, they're a great team. You can't put it past them. Defending state champs. I mean, number 12, Grant Barr, he's a great receiver. I mean, hard to guard. They got some big boys up front, so it's going to be tough. But I think if we really just do our 1/11th and just do our job, I think we could have a good chance. So, yeah.
And being that you've seen them before, now that you and this has happened a few times where you guys end up having a rematch of a game in earlier in the season. Is there anything you can glean from the first matchup that may be able to help you out in the second one? Again, without trying to give away too much.
Yeah, I mean, it was a tough loss versus them the first time. I mean, we had a couple mistakes on special teams, couple mistakes on defense, but I think our coaches have really analyzed that game and have really came up with a good game plan. So I think we're all ready, both sides of the ball.
No doubt, absolutely. What position do you play in basketball?
Point guard.
Point guard. Very nice. All right, another question that Josh usually asks. Game-winning three-pointer
Oh, man.
or game-winning touchdown in football?
Game-winning touchdown. 100%.
Now let me ask this: if we were in basketball, if it was in the basketball season, would your answer change?
No.
Okay, all right.
I think football is the most exciting sport.
Yeah.
There it is.
I couldn't agree with you more. Excellent. Well, Logan, tell you what, we'll get you out of here. We want to thank you very much for taking the time to join us tonight. Great season up to this point. A heck of an effort against Fremont Ross, and good luck to you in the Bulldogs this week against Avon.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thanks, Logan. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Logan.
Thank you.
All right, that is Logan Connelly from Olmsted Falls. Tremendous season up to this point, with at least one more game to play, and just as you mentioned, Rob, part of a double-headed monster at the very least with Owen Singleton. Just a ton of rushing yards. I mean, when Olmsted Falls is really on their game, they don't really need to pass the ball very much, and the running game has been their bread and butter for years.
Yeah, I think you don't really hear about Logan Connelly as much as Owen Singleton, but he does just as much work. I thought this year they really had a balanced attack to really focus on giving Owen Singleton a little bit of a break, because for a while he was the workhorse. I mean, this guy just runs hard. Logan Connelly does the same thing, except he can catch passes out of the backfield. They both really can. But you could tell Cam Pesh relies on these two quite a bit, and if one's not having a great game, it's the other running back that's going to pick them up. And I mean, they have just so many weapons on offense, realistically. They have a lot of pieces moving when they run the football. It's tough to keep track of. I know when I'm trying to take video, I'm following the wrong guy half the time, and I'm like, oh, man, it's all over the place. A lot of moving pieces, a lot of moving parts, but Olmsted Falls does such a great job. They're very well coached, and you could tell during the season, I thought something clicked for them offensively, because they scored a lot of points early on. They were losses, like he said, but they learned a lot because they started putting consistent points on the board, and their defense and Coach Pace really stymied some of the teams they played in the regular season. So they're playing at a pretty high level right now, and it's going to be a really, really good game as they travel to Avon, which they played there one time earlier this year. And I know, talking to some of the players and coaches, they weren't obviously happy with their performance last game. They trailed early in that first quarter, down 21-0, and it ended up being 28-0. I'm sure they thought they could probably play a little bit better, but it's tough to beat a team twice and even three times, and these teams have met quite a bit in regular season and playoff action here.
Rob, we talk about it, just to quickly kind of put a point on what you're saying. We talk about it a lot, and Logan made a great point about their non-conference schedule, and their non-conference schedule is right on par with what we talk about in the Southwestern Conference. Those teams that they played early in the season, and then having maybe not the success, but getting them ready to go into what is always a meat grinder of a schedule, that Southwestern Conference schedule, has led them to doing exactly what they want to do at this point in the season, and that's play their best football. And when you talk about Owen Singleton and Logan, they have very similar skill sets, but they're relied upon to use it complementarily. Where Owen may be the guy that is your battering ram for a couple of plays, and then you kind of toss it out to Logan to get that edge and exploit that edge when they shrink that box. So, that while they are both very good at what they're doing, they're not having to utilize both their skill sets equally. So it's very helpful for a coach and for a quarterback to say, okay, we're either going to run this up the middle, or I'm going to have to go across the middle, or I can go to the outside, knowing that they're going to be able to exploit that matchup. And that's a very good thing to have. Now, again, they have to go play a very good team. And as Logan said, defending state champion, you got to be playing perfect football in November here. And that's exactly what they are doing. They need to continue that into next week. And I think they have an opportunity to do that. Again, it's hard to beat a team twice in a year. Highland will say that. Avon will say that. Again, this is the reason that Division II Region 6 is, for lack of a better term, most of the year comes down to a Southwestern Conference matchup, almost guaranteed every year, because these are the best teams in the region, and that's, you know, deservedly. And you're seeing it every week, you know, in live and in color.
Yeah, and you're right about that. If you look at their schedule, you know, I think that's the one thing you can kind of go ahead and look at is how well they've been doing. They lost 36 to 34 when it came down to the schedule of Olmsted Falls. 36-34, but look at 42-7 versus Midview, 46 to 12 there. So, you know, you look at all the points they started putting up after that Avon Lake game, which was a win, and, you know, it's just an impressive way to really get going during the season, and they continue to play at an ultra high level here.
Yeah, and Ed, you mentioned it too. You cannot underestimate that non-conference schedule. And Coach DeLuca and the staff really wanted to put some highly competitive games on the front end of their schedule that they knew was going to be tough when they got into the conference schedule. So kudos to them. And I think even now, with the way that the playoff format is now, you may actually be seeing that a little more with these, you know, playoff teams, because of that first round, potentially 2 home games in the first 2 rounds is huge in a playoff run.
And defensively, as you mentioned, you know, they started really tightening up on defense later in the season. I mean, we just seen Dylan Papashak throw for, you know, a ton of yards, 7 touchdowns against a pretty good Cleveland Heights team, and they were able to contain Berea Mid Park to just 12 points in their matchup, and that was at Finney Stadium. A Midview team that took Rocky River to the limit. They were only able to get 7 points off of Olmsted Falls' defense. You know, as you mentioned, Fremont Ross, they got a pretty big lead up early on the Little Giants, and as you know, Logan kind of admitted that they, you know, kind of maybe took the foot off a little bit on the earlier side, but they were able to restore order relatively quickly there. So, you know, the Olmsted Falls defense, you can't understate the work they've been doing, and really even holding Avon to 28 points, despite the fact that they got shut out. 28 points against Avon is a pretty good defensive effort there. So that's a good game when you can do that to Avon. Now you just gotta have the offense to come along with it. And now this is the second time they've seen each other. Obviously, they're going to make adjustments. And between Coach DeLuca and Coach Elder, those are 2 of the best coaches out there. And you know, when they see each other for a second time, you know, they're going to throw a little bit of a wrinkle in there. A few years ago, if I'm not mistaken, Rob, in the playoffs, Olmsted Falls absolutely jumped Avon early. I think they had like a 21-0 lead or something like that, but Avon was able to methodically work their way back. You know, that's like a dream start you could possibly, as dream of a start you can have. I'm not sure if that is going to happen, but you know, if you're able to get Avon into that type of a situation, it's all about finishing at that point.
Yeah, I think Avon probably learned a lot from that game, because I think that was actually last year, and that was one of the first games Avon played, you know, on their way to a state championship, was that Olmsted Falls game. Because I know at halftime, I'm pretty sure Olmsted Falls might have been winning that game, but I know they were leading big. And Avon slowly but surely came back and then scored some points and won that game. But Olmsted Falls, like I said, these teams play so many times versus each other. Obviously, they play during the regular season, but you know, the last few years they get caught up here in the playoffs and are playing again. So it's going to be interesting to see how they match up. I think, you know, in years past, Olmsted Falls I think obviously they're a really good team each year. You know, they always come back strong, but this year seems a little bit different just because they're putting up more points. Their offense is clicking right now, and their defense is playing at a pretty high level. So it's a little bit different, I feel like, this year for Olmsted Falls. They're going to go into a really hostile environment in Avon. It's a tough place to win, especially obviously with all the talent that Avon has, but you know, facing them earlier this season, I'm sure Coach DeLuca and his staff learned a lot and are already preparing. And it seemed like Logan Connelly was pretty confident in what they were learning the second time around, and it seemed like they're preparing very well for Avon here in round 2.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, thanks to Logan Connelly for joining us from Olmsted Falls. All right, we're going to switch things up a little bit here. We're going to bring on Beckett Vogrin first.
Actually, I believe Hughes is here now.
Oh, is he on?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Here, I'll let him in quick.
Cool. There we go. See, this is live. This is what you have a live radio.
Yeah, you never know.
You never know what's going to happen.
You just roll with the punches when you're live streaming. I mean, that's what you got to do, you know?
Absolutely. All right, we'll see if Tristin's on tonight. There he is. We are joined by Rocky River running back, wide receiver, running back, defensive back, everything junior. Tristin Hughes joins us tonight. Tristin, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
Hey, what a tremendous effort by you and the Pirates this past week. Sean was at that game, and you know, he'll have some. I'm sure he has had nothing but great things to say. And you know, let's go back to that game. You know, a tough sledding against a really good Midview team. You count for 3 touchdowns. Talk about the preparation for a team like Midview and how you guys were able to execute.
I mean, yeah, we came into the week knowing Midview was a big team. Like, the record didn't really show their full capabilities. So we prepared very hard and worked hard all week, thinking about trying to make it past the first round and get to the second round.
Tristin, thank you so much for taking the time and joining us tonight. Congratulations on the win against Midview. You know, the connection between you and Riley Taylor, I feel like, is unprecedented between you two. Just kind of talk about the connection between you guys, not only just on the field, but off the field as well.
I mean, yeah, me and Ryan hang out all the time. I know I pick him up sometimes. We go get food together. And just even in class, we'll talk to each other, talk about plays, talk about football. And even outside of football, we'll talk about different things and, like, things we want to do in life.
Yeah, very cool. And I mean, that's a great connection to have, because, you know, I was at the North Olmsted game, and I mean, you could tell with you and Ryan Taylor that you guys he kind of knew where you were going to be at all times. Like you mentioned before, does Coach let you develop certain plays and kind of even in the huddle, is Ryan Taylor allowed to, maybe if he sees a defense, to change the play up and go to you on I know you guys had you had some posts, you had some slants, you were open all over the field, and you had a really big game to kind of display your speed. Do you guys kind of develop that chemistry by connecting and coming up with some plays in the huddle there?
I mean, yeah, definitely. Luckily, our coach really trusts my quarterback, Ryan, and me. And so he lets Ryan, like, if Ryan sees something he likes, he lets Ryan go ahead and call it, because he trusts our team. So,
Tristin, again, you know, congratulations on a fantastic performance. I've actually seen your guys' team twice this year. I was at the Buckeye game in Rocky River. Unfortunately, didn't work out the way you guys wanted to, and I was at the game last week. And one thing that impressed me most about your performance was not only, you know, catching the ball, but also, you know, being called on to run the ball and then to flip sides and play defense. And against a team like Midview that may not be known for passing the ball, you were still very cognizant of coming up and playing very good run support with a guy like Marcus McMahon and the way they run that ball out of Midview. From a defensive standpoint, what was the messaging going into this Midview game that your coaches really kind of laid upon you guys on the defense, you know, because you guys, that defense kept you in that game and also, you know, kept Midview from scoring a late touchdown to really, you know, seal that game for you guys.
I mean, we came into the week knowing that Marcus was a great back. I mean, we watched the tape and he was doing crazy things that, like, we haven't played all year. And so just going into the week, our coach had prepared us constantly through tackling circuits, drills, and even live reps on getting back there and be able to run support and making sure we're in the right spots.
Tristin, I'm curious, for a player like yourself who's kind of all over the place, doesn't take many plays off, how important is communication with not only you and your individuals coaches, playing on defense and then working on communication on certain plays in the offense, but how important is communication with your teammates on the field, getting to know to help you get into where you need to be on the field for a specific play?
I mean, communication is great. I mean, we talk things out before game, knowing what we want to do, and throughout the week we practice things that we know that we're going to communicate. And like even like I said earlier, how like Ryan calls the plays if he sees it, we go for it. Coach Atwater really trusts us in doing that. So just having that ability, it's great.
We're talking with junior wide receiver, running back, Swiss Army knife, Tristin Hughes from Rocky River. Tristin, talk about some of the other teammates, some of the other skill positions that have been really made a difference to, that takes a lot of the pressure off of you, that have really helped you out this year. Besides Ryan,
I mean, we have Rowan Kennedy. He's a sophomore. He's been going crazy all year. I mean, he's been doing his thing, and like as I'm getting double, Rowan gets open all the time. And even with that, we have Danny Berg who plays a slot. And I mean, I think there's been like 4 or 5 games where he's reversed the field and gone for a 70-yard touchdown now. So just us having that explosive offense, especially with our running back Joey DeSalvo, us being able to give out the ball and have different people who can break tackles and make big plays, it's really important, and it's helping us in the long run.
yeah, and talk about that too. If teams are wanting to take you out of the game just because of your big playability. How happy is it? And I think I know the answer just based off of your last response. But how is it for you if you're more or less a decoy on a play, to try to get one of your other teammates open?
I mean, I don't mind it at all. I definitely love being a decoy, as I can attract the defense and have my other teammates get open. Like Rowan, he goes score the touchdown. Danny goes score the touchdown. I mean, it just feels great because I'm helping out the team in some way.
Tristin, it was pretty obvious, in the last couple of times that got to watch Rocky River and specifically you guys play, how much fun you guys have, even in the game last week where, admittedly a lot of penalties, a lot of miscues, things didn't go your way. You guys were still, the energy was still there. There was a lot of energy on that sideline. I was on your guys' sideline for the first half, and I think that was when I think there was a flag on almost every play. I didn't understand some of them, but just it was really, really kind of refreshing to see you guys up and positive. Is that something that you and the players feed off of, or is that instilled by the coaching staff, or is it a combination of the two?
I mean, it's a combination of the two. Our head coach, Coach Wells, definitely tells us throughout the week that we're going to face adversity. The only way to overcome adversity is by toughening and just getting through it. And even with the team, like the people who don't get in the game, they sit there and they celebrate and they cheer on each other. It's like as long as we play as a team and communicate, we'll be fine.
Tristin, you guys got a big game coming up this week in the regional quarterfinals, going up against the number 4 seed Revere Minutemen. Without giving too much away, what are some of the things that you have seen from Revere as you guys are preparing them to face them coming up in this week's regional quarterfinal game at their place?
I mean, Revere is definitely a great team. They're number 4 seed for a reason, and they definitely came. They're definitely going to come to play. Like they were at our game Friday, so I know that they are preparing for this game. It's going to be a big game. But I mean, just us getting all 11 hats to the ball and just staying prepared all week and just listening to our coaches and following the plan, I think we should be good.
Hey, we're talking with Tristin Hughes from Rocky River here. Tristin, this is your first year at Rocky River, having spent some time in St. Ed's and St. Ignatius. How was it acclimating to Rocky River, to the team, to the coaches? I mean, on the field, it seemed like a very seamless transition, but in preparation of that, how was that transition for you?
I mean, it was a little shaky to begin. I mean, everybody doesn't like a new start. It's a little awkward, a little shy. I'm a little shy, so it was just a little crazy start for me. But as soon as I got in, I mean, the coaches made it feel like it was home. The players, I mean, it just felt like it felt great. I was able to talk to the players even though I didn't know them. We all communicated, and like even that, we used to always go out and get food together just to get to know each other more.
If there's anything I know about Coach Wells, he does a great job of making sure everyone is as included as possible, and that goes from the 50th guy on the bench to a star like yourself. So I'm not surprised that the transition has gone as well as it has. You were highly touted even coming into the season, and you have more than delivered up to this point. And obviously, if you have anything to say about it, you have a lot more football to come this year. Tristin, we want to thank you for taking the time tonight. I do have a favor to ask of you. Ask Coach Wells what his favorite college subject was, specific to math. He has a certain nickname. I'm not sure he'll tell you what it is, but I know what it is. I'm just curious if he'll actually tell you what it is.
Okay.
Ed's trying to get you to run extras. What's happening? He's trying to get you. You're gonna have to do extra.
Oh man.
So if he does that, you could just thank Ed Dick from Sports on Tap for those extra sprints.
You are more than welcome to blame me for all of that.
And tell Coach Wells to give Ed a call. He'll gladly come to Rocky River and run some sprints.
Yeah.
Ed's a former soccer player. He can handle it.
Hey, Tristin, good luck to you. Good luck to you.
Yes.
Good luck this week, and good luck to the Pirates against Revere this week.
Thank you. Thank you guys for having me.
Thanks, Tristin. Appreciate it.
Tristin.
That is junior wide receiver, defensive back, running back, Swiss Army knife, Tristin Hughes joining us. A major contributor to what's going on at Rocky River. I mean, Rocky River was loaded to begin with a really good quarterback in Ryan Taylor coming back, and having Tristin Hughes add on to that was just was just kind of icing on the cake for Coach Wells in that offense.
I think the one thing that I got out of that interview, which is surprising, is the fact that he considers himself to be shy. I think he's kind of a lightning rod and kind of brings the enthusiasm to the team. That was good stuff to hear from Tristin.
He may be shy off the field. On the field, he is not shy. He is a very vocal leader on both the defense and the offense. And you can hear him and you can hear Ryan Taylor. And the one thing I wanted to mention, and it was hard to put into words during my recap, it just seemed like he was open, even on broken plays, or maybe they weren't broken plays, but he was open, and he was usually double covered at some point. So it's pretty impressive, like just seeing him kind of work his way out of a jam and then get the ball and then go up the field. And again, taking away a couple of those touchdowns because of those holding penalties or for whatever reason, you wonder if it's one of those things where that was a reason for the holding penalties. Who knows? But man, it's fun watching him play football.
Yeah, he's quick. I mean, we had a chance to watch Jackson Smith and the Jigba last night go off for some yards. He kind of reminds me of him a little bit in his a great route runner, good hands, has that speed, makes the cuts, and when he's in open field, I mean, good luck stopping him. He's just one of those really good receivers that has made such a huge impact for Rocky River this year.
And he's not afraid to get the ball and run for tough yards from a running back standpoint. And they really relied on him last week for that. So it was impressive.
Not only that, he plays a really good defense too. I mean, you mentioned Sean, he's not afraid to stick his shoulder pads in there, make a hit. It seems like every time there's an impact play on defense, he makes an interception or turns the ball over for Rocky River. All right, we're going to shift over to the quarterback side of things here. We are joined by senior quarterback from the Medina Battling Bees, Beckett Vogrin joins us. Beckett, thanks for taking the time to join us tonight. How are you?
I'm great. How are you guys doing?
Hey, we're good. We're good. This is it's high school. It's the high school football playoffs, and there is nothing better than talking playoffs. And I mentioned for you, there's nothing better than winning playoffs. Not only that, but defeating a conference rival in the process of it. Boy, what a game against Stronsville. We'll start there. What was it about Stronsville the second time around that you played them that you were able to have success, not only on the offensive end, but definitely on the defensive end?
Yeah, so we took a deep dive into them on the offensive side, and we realized that they had a lot of pressure on us. The first game, they had, I think, double-digit amount of sacks, and so we had to focus on getting the ball out quickly. And my receivers just ran great routes. I was able to get it to them there. But then on the defensive side, they just bought in and just had a great week of practice last week. I mean, the intensity that they had, it was awesome. And you could have told, like, you could just tell that they were going to be awesome on Friday.
Beckett, thank you so much for taking the time and joining us tonight. And congratulations on what was a huge win for you guys going up against Brownsville. But, you began the season as the backup quarterback to River. I've seen you played wide receiver at the positions. River gets hurt week 7. You come in. I feel like you had a great game against Cleveland Heights that really set you up for great momentum. But just kind of talk about how you've been able to reflect from the start of the season being the backup quarterback to now winning the playoff game and now just being the full force leader for this team moving forward.
Yeah, it's been awesome. There's been some challenges, but with the receiving core that we have, the coaches that we had, they've made the transition for me just really just seamless and easy. And so, I wouldn't have been able to do it without them. So it's been easy. It's been nice. It's been fun. But without them, it wouldn't be possible.
From the beginning of the season till now, what have the coaches really taught you to feel comfortable? Because, now starting in the playoffs, it's obviously a little bit more pressure. There's a lot of, you went into Strongsville, which is a pretty tough environment to win in. What did the coaches do to really, kind of make you feel comfortable in this offense? Because like you said, this season has kind of been an up and down season for you guys, but you guys have continued, you got into the playoffs, and now it looks like you're pretty comfortable with this offense.
Yeah, so, I've been in this offense this is my 3rd year now, so I feel like I know it like the back of my hand, but last week our main focus was, everyone counted us out, and so our motto was, we're playing with house money, we have nothing to lose going into it. Don't feel pressure. As a quarterback, they were telling me to, go through your reads, see it, feel it, trust it, make the throw, and then we'll be good. Just keep it simple.
Absolutely.
Beckett, I was impressed just with the mentality that you talked about there is keeping it, in a tight game. That pressure's there and how loose you guys seem to be on all the highlights I saw and what I've read. Again, you mentioned that playing with house money. What was the feeling for you as a senior, kind of the leader, one of the leaders on the team, throughout that game? What was something that you kind of kept in your mind to remind your teammates or to keep them, because again, it was a back and forth game and you guys were hanging tough. What was some of the things that you were telling your teammates that got you guys to that point where you're like, hey, we're hanging with Strongsville here. We're in this and we can win this thing?
Yeah, it was really just making sure everyone kept their heads up, stayed involved. The big difference with us this week was our sideline was very involved, very cheering, there for everyone, picking up anyone on a little mistake. So we just stayed together as a team there, and it was really just communicating to just keep focus and stay to the course, and we'll be able to come out how we want.
Beckett, I first want to congratulate you. You by far have the best hair on the show today. Out of
Thank you.
Out of the 5 of us today, but
No doubt.
I just want to kind of talk about Medina over the past, I don't know, so many years have had that legacy of having really, really good quarterbacks. Drew Aller, obviously, Danny Stoddard. Have you in your role as a backup and now the starter, have you taken anything from what they have done in the past, kind of set the foundation of what a Medina quarterback, how Medina quarterback should play?
Yeah, so I really wasn't there for much of Drew's. I got to experience it on the sideline watching as a fan and all, but I wasn't there for practices. But Danny, I was there, and really just the little details he would take in practice and translate them to game. But then Danny might not have had the arm talent Drew had, but Danny was really quick and decisive with taking the simple short throw to set up the big play. We had great receivers back then, like Austin Knowles, Jack Wojak, and You all saw the like stellar plays they all had for explosive plays, but it really got set up with Danny taking the short route, setting it up.
So how can you take that? Do you take that into your game, knowing that that's a facet that you can really utilize?
Yeah, I do. I feel like, especially last week specifically, like Strongsville was bringing a lot of pressure, so it was the quick 5-yard hitch routes that we could hit to really set up the big plays that you saw Brian Wookter making. Like, it was just the short, simple routes that I would hit to different receivers to set up someone else.
We're talking with Medina senior quarterback Beckett Vogrin. You not only hurt the Mustangs with that short passing attack, you hurt them with your legs as well. Talk about how big of a part of the running game you were able to keep them off balance. How big of a part of that helped you out as well in that game?
Yeah, it was huge. I mean, our coach Laird, he dialed up the run plays at the perfect time that set up the holes for me to be able to get there, but it really it hurt them. Like, I remember, I think it was like 3rd and 20 almost, and everyone expects Medina, oh, they're a passing team, this. Like, Coach Laird set up a QB draw on 3rd and 20 for me to get, I think it was 18 yards or so. Like, we were like 2 yards short to set up a very manageable 4th down compared to punting it away and giving them the ball back in a critical situation.
Beckett, earlier this season, you guys suffered that loss early to Strongsville. But going into that game on Friday night, how confident were you guys ready to go, knowing that you guys were a much different team than you were in that Week 6 loss earlier in the season?
Yeah, we were really confident. I mean, our whole motto, like, besides the house money, but it was believe you can win, like, believe in it. If you believe it, you can make it happen. Like, if you go in there thinking that there's a chance you guys are going to lose, you're not going to come out successful. And, like, especially at halftime, we were down 19-14. And you could have, like, if you would have heard the energy, you would have thought we were up 3 touchdowns. Like, we were really all together in that fight. We didn't want to lose to them again. Like, just having the opportunity to play them twice in a season, let alone just making the playoffs after our record, like, pieces fell together and we got a second chance at Strongsville, and we knew we had to take advantage of it.
I like that. And then you guys have a regional quarterfinal matchup coming up against Cam McKinley. You guys will be playing at the Pro Football Hall of Fame Stadium. What an opportunity that is for you guys. But without giving too much any away, what are some of the things that you have seen from the Bulleyes as you're preparing them to face them coming up on Friday night?
Yeah, it's first off, it's an awesome experience. It'll be an amazing environment to play in. But they have athletes all over. I mean, from the amount of time that we've had since Saturday till now to start scouting them, they have athletes all over the board, offense, defense, special teams, everywhere. And so we have to be ready to play, and we have to be smart with what we do, and we have to be, like, precise with our routes, when to break them off, all of that. We just have to be smart.
Is someone who also played Cam McKinley at the Pro Football Hall of Fame, I can tell you it is a fantastic experience. I hope yours goes slightly different than mine. So Beckett, congratulations on a huge win against Strongsville, and good luck to you and the Bees this week against Canton McKinley.
Thank you so much.
Good luck, Beckett. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you guys so much for the opportunity. Have a good one.
You too.
Thank you, Beckett.
Thank you.
All right, that is senior quarterback from Medina, Beckett Vogrin, joining us, and
great stuff there.
Real good stuff there, and Noah as a Medina grad.
Really? I can't
no
tell.
way.
I can't tell, Noah. Wow.
First time we've mentioned that
Medina
ever gone to Medina.
Yeah, I only saw Edina, so I was like, I think they misspelled Medina. Oh, there's the M. Okay. Sometimes the Medina County schools, I don't know.
And there's the star of the show, Eddie.
There he is.
Little Eddie making his appearance.
Now. Yeah, you better say something.
He's camera shy. It's okay.
No, he's not camera shy. He's not shy.
He's got a good head of hair too, right there.
He's got a Kentucky waterfall that is That's completely.
That
Oh wow, I
is
see it.
impressive.
Yeah.
Whoa!
That is
Wait, is that
impressive.
Joe Dirt?
No, he had to.
Loving it,
As he
man.
as he just got into the frame, it was all business in the front,
Yeah,
and then
all
he
business.
and then he got kind of
Party in the back. I love it.
I like it,
into
man.
the
Look at that.
screen,
That's
party in
good
the back.
stuff.
Yeah, look at this thing. This thing is like.
I thought, Ed, for Halloween, I thought you would have the same haircut. I'm a little disappointed.
Man, I don't get these mullets, man. Like you got like Liam doesn't have a mullet, does he, Sean?
After this show, he might want one.
I don't think so.
Unfortunately, the Duffy jeans, we only grow hair out, and it gets just thick, just
Nice.
thick and Brillo patty. That's
the
why
red-
it's buzz cuts. Yeah,
These are things
like a
that
rug.
Josh and I need to worry about. Which
yeah.
which I
Oh
think
no, it's still going away. It's just, you know.
Well, they'll work on
Speaking
that.
of going away, how
Yeah.
about our viewers now? Let's get back to
Oh,
some
Okay.
cow, man.
Yes,
I'll tell you what.
quarterfinal matchups.
Wow.
Yeah,
Beckett Vogrin, Beckett Vogrin, fantastic interview there. We want to thank him,
absolutely.
Tristin Hughes, and Logan Connelly for joining us as we shift our focus towards the regional quarterfinals. And now the big boys have decided to join the chat here. Seeds 1 through 4 are now involved, and that we have some heavy hitters here. So Noah, why don't you take it away for Division 1, Region 1 for at least 3 of those games?
All right, thank you, Ed. And we'll first start off with the number 4 seed, Toledo Whitman. They'll be taking on Perrysburg in this game. And then number 3 seed, Cam McKinley, they'll be traveling to take on the Bees of Medina in this game. And Medina, they put up a fight against Stronsville in this game. How can they respond by taking on a very good Cam McKinley Bulldogs team? And I think Beckett Vogrin said it well. They're not playing with house money. They're playing to prove everyone that they, even though their record is not good, they're playing to play their best game. And I feel like they're gonna try everything in their power to go on to Cam McKinley and try to get out a W. So we'll see what happens if Medina can pull out another upset like they did in the first round. And then the number 7 seed, Massillon Jackson Polar Bears, they're taking on the number 2 seed and defending Greater Cleveland Conference champion, Manor Cardinals. This was a matchup the previous couple years in which Manor has won both of them. And I feel like Jackson could put up a fight against Manor, and we'll see how they could put up a fight against a very good Manor Cardinals team in this game.
And then
Yeah, the last game.
The last one.
Yeah, St. Edward, the number 1 seed, Berea Mid-Park, the number 8 seed. Berea Mid-Park playing at a pretty high level. I feel like if they can control the clock and when they have the offense, if they can get those established drives and keep the ball in their hands and keep it out of St. Edward, try to get some long drives, put some points on the board, slow the game down a little bit. They might have a chance here. They've been putting up some points. It just depends. Can their defense stop, an Eagles team that they're just tough. They have talent all over the board, and they've played some really tough teams this year. Berea Mid-Park needs to keep it out of their hands and really take some time off the clock in this game, which I know they love to put up a lot of points, which that we know they can do. They had a tough game with Avon there where they only, I believe, trailed by 7 at half. They're going to have to do the same thing, but if you get into a shootout with St. Edward, you'll get in trouble. So we'll see what happens with Berea Mid-Park here as they try to upset the St. Edward Eagles.
Thought you had something to say there, Noah. Sorry about that. Read your body language wrong there. It's a tremendous matchups here for Division 1, Region 1. Medina pulled the only upset off here, and we'll see if they can do it again against Canton McKinley. All right, let's shift over to Division 2, Region 5. And this will be, we'll turn it over to Josh for this one.
Yeah, we're going to start off with the 1 and 9 matchup. Youngstown Boardman, they're going to travel and take on Akron Archbishop Hoban. That's going to be a tough match for them as they have to go on the road. This number 2 seed in Division 2, Region 5, Cuyahoga Falls, Walsh Jesuit. They will play host to the Nordonia Knights. Walsh has been typically one of the better teams in our area for a while now. Finished 8-1 this year, number 7 in the AP poll. They're looking to continue on with their playoff run. The number 3 seed, Austintown Fitch, they will host Green. Green, as we talked about earlier, beat Garfield Heights in round 1, 21-6, and then the final game in Division 2, Region 5. The Hudson Explorers, the number 5 seed, they will travel to Uniontown Lake to take on the number 4 seeded Uniontown Lake. And those number 4-5 matchups, those are the ones that historically are very close, very tight. There's some pretty good matchups. As good as Nordonia's been this year, they're going to have to really be on their A game to defeat Walsh. Walsh has just had been playing at a high level all season long. So it's going to be some tough roads, but if there's any team that can do it, it would be Nordonia.
Yeah, in talking with the Hudson Uniontown Lake game, Uniontown Lake has defeated Boardman. They've defeated Rocky River, and the 3 teams they lost to are all Federal League teams, and those teams are all playing in round 2 this week. So, I mean, Uniontown Lake is no joke. They have 3 losses, but those 3 losses are as quality of losses as you can have. They're all They're all 1 possession losses, and they play really good football at Uniontown Lake. And then that's not to take away anything from Hudson, because Hudson's 2 losses are to the number 2 and the number 1 and the number 2 seeds in Division 2, Region 6. So
right.
I think the Uniontown Lake Hudson game
is going to be really good.
Going to be phenomenal.
Yeah, and just a quick note too. Hudson's defense has been playing lights out, with the exception of that game against Wadsworth that they had. They've 6 shutouts this year, 2 shutouts in a row. They're really good. So looking forward to see how this one stacks up.
A lot of good stuff going on in Division 2, Region 5. Now it's shipped over to Division 2, Region 6, and there are some powerhouses in this matchup. In that cup, we have a whole smorgasbord of conferences here. So let's start first let's go with the Southwestern Conference, because they have multiple representations here. So actually, no, let's start with Josh with Wadsworth.
Yeah, well, you had to make sure I wasn't on mute again. Yeah, Wadsworth, they will host Toledo St. Francis de Sales. This is going to be a tough matchup for Wadsworth. Having that, we haven't seen how these teams are going to react to having that week 1 bye. I mean, that's something that's relatively new. But if seeing how Justin Todd has his team prepared every week, they're going to be prepared for this matchup. They are the number 2 seed in this region. They have been playing lights out football all year, and I don't see it stopping in this game Friday.
I agree with you. I think Wadsworth they're on another level right now. And not to say that Francis de Sales, I mean, they've played some really tough opponents up there. But it's not going to be a fun drive for them going to Wadsworth, and I think Wadsworth will be ready to roll there. We'll save the number 1 seed for last. Rob, 2 real good matchups here involving Southwest Conference teams. So you got 3 teams with 2 games. So start where you want.
Yeah, North Ridgeville, number 4, taking on Anthony Wayne. And Anthony Wayne, they're 3 in their last 4 games. They're 3-1. Especially a big win against Toledo, start 42-21 in their last game. But if we remember this matchup, North Ridgeville and Anthony Wayne, they have had some classic games in the playoffs. Could have went either way, and this is going to be another one. I think these teams are really close. You can look at the 7-4 record Anthony Wayne has, but they played some really good teams throughout the year, and a lot of their losses against Toledo Whitmer during the season, 45-21 against a good Clay team, and then Perrysburg at 9-2. They just beat Ignatius, and they lost in that game 24-3. So they lost to some really good teams this year, as did North Ridgeville. If you look at North Ridgeville, their only loss is to Avon, so that's going to be a great game. Avon hosting Olmsted Falls again. They have played this year already, and Avon with a big 28-0 win against Olmsted Falls, and that was, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. That was in week 5. So that was a while ago, and now Olmsted Falls playing a little bit different football with their offense. I think this could be a really good game, and if we remember in the playoffs last time, Olmsted Falls jumped out to a pretty big lead over Avon. Gave them a little scare last year as Avon went on to a state championship. But these two teams very familiar with each other. They match up again here in round 2.
There's some fantastic battles going on from the Southwestern Conference, and we talked a lot about Avon and Olmsted Falls earlier. And you mentioned it, Rob. North Ridgeville and Anthony Wayne are no strangers in the playoffs, so this is going to be that's about as good of a 4 or 5 matchup as I think Hudson and Uniontown Lake is in Division 2, Region 5. All right, let's shift over to the battle of the Suburban League. The Suburban League, American Conference champions for the final time, the Highland Hornets hosting Brecksville. Let's start with Josh from the Brecksville side of things. They're pretty close in proximity. What does Brecksville need to do to take out Highland?
Well, they're going to have to continue to have their solid running game, keep the offense of the Hornets off the field. Casey Miser and the offense for the Hornets, they're on a roll, but that's not going to be an easy task against the Highlands defense. They're one of the most dominating defenses in the area, and they have been for the past few years. So Brecksville is just going to have to limit turnovers and play good, solid defense and run the ball and keep running the ball with Jacob Peterovich, Peter Shamanti, and see where it goes from there. It's going to be a tough road to hoe, though.
You know, Josh, you brought up a good point. We don't know how these teams are going to play after a bye. I would counter that by saying we do know how one team responded to a bye this year, and that was Highland, who had a very last-second bye. Valid. And what did they do the next week? They dropped 58 points on Kent Roosevelt and only gave up 7, and the 7 points came in the waning seconds of the game. So I'm all American. I'm an American boy. I love my American team, and right now Highland is the number 1 seed in this region. That is saying something, given the fact of a Wadsworth and an Avon, the defending state champion, who is there by virtue of the fact that they went to Florida. They had to go to a different state to lose their only game of the year. But Highland is the number 1 seed, and they are playing at their best. I think we can all agree, and they haven't been tested at this year. They really haven't. They some games were closer than others, but they've been in control for the most part. If Brecksville could come in and pop them in the mouth early and make them kind of think and make them not do what they do best, they may have a shot. But just given the track record that Coach Gibbons has with this team and the way they're playing, I look for Highland to make a statement that it's not. We may have had to go to the 4th tiebreaker to get the number 1 seed over Wadsworth, but make no mistake, there's a reason that we were up there to begin with. And I think Highland makes a statement this week against Brecksville going into the semifinals. That's my thought.
And I agree with you, Sean. And if you look at these top 2 seeds, they're very similar teams. Very similar teams. Good defense, great running game, solid quarterback play. But the quarterbacks can make plays when needed. Just hasn't these teams, they don't have to do that a lot. So the quarterbacks are efficient, and they're able to score points behind that solid running game. And, just thinking about this game with Brecksville, they're going to have to force turnovers. They're going to have to find a way to get Highland out of their game, force turnovers somehow or another, and then score off those turnovers to make it a close game.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have to. You're right. I mean, they're gonna have to steal some possessions, whether that's on an onside kick, or forcing turnovers. I mean, Highlands defense is no joke. They've given up 47 points, something absurd like that, in 9 games, and they've won 8 of those games by more than 30 points. 8 of the games that they played. So I mean, I mentioned Wadsworth's on another level. Highland might be another level on top of that. And I say that knowing that Highland and Wadsworth ended with the same exact amount of points from the Harbin scoring system. But
by the way, the defending state champions are the forgotten child in this a little bit, which is insane to me. Like, you look at this region, these three teams, this would be a dream 3 for the state Final Four. We have an opportunity here for these 3, possibly 4 teams to be, fighting for a regional final. It's insane to me how good these 3 teams are, because they're there. I mean, Rob, you could speak to it. You've seen Avon live in the flesh. There's no drop off between Highland, Wadsworth, and Avon. This is semantics. This might as well be 1A, 1B, 1C, and let everything else kind of fall where it may. Somebody's got to be 2 and 3, but I'm obviously biased towards Highland, but you cannot sit there and tell me that Avon is somehow less than, like, that 3 is there because it had to be there. Someone had to get it.
Well, and probably because that one loss in Florida, which
right,
they went on the road to and played there. But yeah, you said it. I mean, Avon Blake Elder's having a great season. Passing. He has weapons all over the place. Grant Barr's a good receiver that can make big-time plays. They have receivers all over the place. They have a lot of depth, and I think we saw that when they didn't start, a few of their starting running backs, and they went to the third and fourth guys, and, they were putting up huge numbers and running the football. Not to mention wide receivers making big-time plays all over the field. And Blake Elder, he can pass. He doesn't necessarily need to run because his offensive line is protecting him pretty well. So that Avon offense, they're very deep, and they wear teams out. And, that's the one thing that I think in any of these games, you want to try to keep that Avon offense off the field if you can. It's tough to do because once they start putting up points, they get out so far ahead that you're coming from behind, and then you're in trouble. So it's going to be interesting. Like you said, Highland and Wadsworth, they have had amazing seasons. All the top 3 in this, and even North Ridgeville, they've had a great season. But Highland, Wadsworth, and Avon, their offense has been crazy, and they really haven't had a ton of close games this season.
No, you're right, Sean. I think you have it right. At the end of the day, right now, someone has to beat Avon. Avon is they've been the kings of Division II, Region 6 for quite a while, and someone has to beat them. They are in the same realm as another team we were just about to talk about here now. That until someone beats them, it's really hard to pick against them. But no matter how good the teams ahead of them in points, how good they are. All right. Speaking of which, Division 3, Region 10. So the 2 seed, Wapakoneta, is going to take on the number 7 seed, Lima Shawnee. Lexington will take on the aforementioned Toledo Central Catholic Fighting Irish. Again, Toledo Central Catholic is the best team in this region, and until someone beats them, I will not say otherwise. And I love me some Buckeye, but that's kind of how it is. Speaking of Buckeye, they are going to take on St. Mary's Memorial. They were a 36-34 winner over a very, very good Copley team. Now, I had to do a little bit of research on St. Mary Memorial because I've never heard of them before. In fact, the county they reside in, I've also never heard of. Auglaize County, down over by...
Auglaize.
Auglaize? So, yeah, it's not too...
Auglaize County.
Sean's a little more familiar with this than I am. They are a perennial playoff contender. They have been in Division 4. Were in recently Division 3, Region 12. So how they redrew the districts to have them in Division 3, Region 10, I will have zero clue. So that's the state of Ohio for you when it comes to stuff like this. As it stands, Copley had to make about a 2.5-hour drive to St. Mary. St. Mary's going to return that favor with about a 2-hour and 45-minute drive to York Township to take on Buckeye. St. Mary Memorial, looking at their schedule, they have a really good schedule. The teams they've lost to are really good teams. So this is no joke of a team. They've lost to Galleon, who we're going to talk about, who is going to take on Cloverleaf. If they had won that game, they would have taken on Galleon, but they're the number 2 seed in Division 4, Region 14. They lost to an 8-2 Bath team. and they lost to Wapakoneta. Those are their losses, and those teams are have a combined 3 losses. So St. Mary Memorial is extremely good, and they're going to give Buckeye a pretty good run for their money. For Buckeye, a lot of the same. Keep doing what they need to do. Run the ball. If Turner Delata, we know Turner Delata can pass the ball, but if he doesn't have to, that is generally when Buckeye is at their most successful. And with a healthy Roman Kretler and a healthy with Ryan Wilhelm, Jacob Snyderburn catching passes like Trey Weinmeier did last year. Every time he catches the ball, it's a touchdown. If that Buckeye offense can continue to move bodies and keep the ball on the ground, that's going to be a recipe for success for the number 1 seed Buckeye Bucks. All right, last and certainly not least, Rocky River, the number 5 seed, taking on Revere, the number 4 seed. We talked a lot about Rocky River here earlier with Tristin Hughes on, so I'm not sure we really need to talk too much more about that. I will say with the weapons that Rocky River has are they're all over the place. With Ryan Taylor, Danny Berg, Joey DeSalvo, Tristin Hughes, Rowan Kennedy, a really opportunistic defense, which Sean has seen multiple times. They're going to present some problems for Revere, but on the flip side, Revere is also going to provide some problems for Rocky River, and Sean can tell us about that.
Yeah, you look at a team like Revere and you're thinking, wow, they had a great season. They're there. They're there for a reason, and that reason is twofold. They have a great defense. They have a fantastic defense that gets pressure on the quarterback in passing situations and also is very, very stout against the run. Their only real weaknesses are on the edges. They don't have a lot of speed side to side. They're very good at matching up in the box. On the offensive side of the ball, Harrison Dravenkar and James Perry are the 2 guys that offense runs through. And what happens is if you focus on those 2 guys, they make you pay. Those guys are hard runners. If you want to get an idea of that, go back to my spotlight game, my highlight video when it was Copley versus Revere. Revere had to come back and win that game on a last-second field goal. This team is tested. Coach Nickel has this team believing in themselves. They could have easily packed that in knowing they had a playoff victory and just let that game play out and lose that game. They fought to the bitter end and stole that game and got themselves an all-important home game in a playoff against a team that had to play their way and had to survive against a game Midview team. Revere is a team that if you let them hang around, if Rocky River does what they do and goes in as explosive play and doesn't shoot themselves in the foot like they did last week and goes and runs away, that's one thing. But if you let a team like Revere, who plays ball control offense, James Perry is a fantastic running back. He's a hard-nosed kid. He does not care if he hurts you running the ball. He does a very good job with that. The play call is very conservative. They want ball control. They want to control the time of possession, which limits the amount of possessions that Rocky River is going to get. So if Rocky River is not efficient and does not do what they should be doing on each one of those plays and putting points on the board, it could be a very interesting night for the Rocky River Pirates when they go up against the Revere Minutemen. This game to me is the hardest game when looking at to predict because there's so many X factors. Can Rocky River overcome being on the road, playing a team that they may not be very familiar with, and can they not have self-inflicted wounds? On the flip side, can Revere not allow this moment to become too big? Not allowed to say, hey, we're here, we're just happy to be, get over that I'm happy to be here mentality. Can Revere focus in, take care of business, and move on to the semifinals? This game to me is probably one of the best games of the week. I mean, obviously all these games are great, but from a standpoint of taking away Division II Region 6, which might as well just be called the Sports on Tap Memorial Division or region, because we have teams usually winning that or playing all the way to the regional finals. This right here is my favorite region to watch because there's a possibility where we could have ourselves, if things work out, another SOT bowl. We could have 2 SOT bowls in regional finals here, guys. If things play out, we could have this. And I'm very excited for where, this team for Revere is. It's a fun team to watch, and Coach Nickel is pumped up for this game. I can tell you that.
Another great 4-5 matchup. I mean, everything we've seen so far. I mean, the 4-5s are exactly what you would expect them to be. They're very evenly matched all throughout the regions that we have talked about so far. In the Division 4, Region 14, Bay got knocked out, so right now we don't have. We're going to shy away from that for a little bit and focus on the teams that are still in. Again, congratulations, even though it was at the expense of one of my teams in Bay. Congratulations to the Cloverleaf Colts for their first playoff victory in school history. They're a Medina County team, familiar to those of us in Medina County. So if there's a team that Bay had to lose to, I'll throw some support behind Cloverleaf as they take on Galleon in round 2. All right, we're going to talk about where we are going to be going this week, and the games to choose from are plentiful. So who wants to start?
I'll start because Sean did a great job previewing that game. I will actually be heading to Revere for the Rocky River Revere matchup. Looking forward to getting out there. Sean was there just a couple weeks ago, I believe. Things went really well for him there. Very exciting game. Hope to get one of the same coming up this Friday. So looking forward to being at the home of the Minutemen.
Excellent.
I'll go next. Well, guys, after a fun week in Berea, I thought I'd travel right back to Medina County this week for this regional quarterfinal matchup, where the St. Mary Memorials team is going to have to travel 2.5 hours to Buckeye, the number 1 seeded Buckeye Bucks. That's where I'll be Friday night at Alumni Stadium. Always great to be out at Buckeye on not turf, on that grass field, boys. Old school football. This is what you want to play football on the grass field. I'm excited. Always a pleasure to be out at Buckeye. Sports on Tap always gets the love from the Buckeye Bucks. So make sure you stay tuned for seeing some of the playoff highlights coming up as the number 8 St. Mary's Memorial is about to take on the number 1 seeded Buckeye Bucks. I'm looking forward to this game. It should be a battle. St. Mary's Memorial gave Copley a game, and I expect them to give Buckeye a little bit of a taste in their mouth. So let's see how Buckeye will respond against a very good St. Memorial's team. That's the game I'm very interested in seeing how Buckeye responds in that statement.
Excellent.
All right, and last but not least, I will be headed to Avon to see the Avon Eagles host Olmsted Falls, the Bulldogs, playing a little different style of football. I'm interested to see, can Avon's defense put a stop to it? Can they contain this Olmsted Falls Bulldogs offense that seems to be really clicking on all levels? And can Olmsted Falls, keep the ball out of the hands of the playmakers for Avon, because they're all over the field. They're going to have to play some really good defense. I think Coach Pace is probably, working overtime to figure out this Avon team. So I'm excited to see it. Coach Eller does a great job there with Avon. They have a lot of athletes. I think it's going to be a really exciting game. There's going to be some big plays in this one, and we'll see what happens. But I know somebody in the Southwestern Conference is going to win this game. We'll see what happens.
Bold
prediction right there. I'm going
right
out on a limb, man.
Look at his hot take.
Wow.
So
Rob
hot
is
right now.
back on the sidelines, boys.
So hot right now. Hot takes.
So hot right now.
Just to recap, we will have Josh will be going to Rocky River versus Revere. So we got a nice SOT inter-conference battle there. Noah will be going to Buckeye to see St. Mary Memorial taking on the Bucks. And Rob will be seeing the rematch between Olmsted Falls and Avon. All right, that's going to do it for our show. Again, doing a little bit of overtime here, but to get 3 student athletes on is always a good night for us to highlight some of those tremendous student athletes and their programs. So we want to thank we want to thank Olmsted Falls senior running back Logan Connelly, junior Swiss Army knife for Rocky River Tristin Hughes, and senior quarterback from Medina, Beckett Vogrin, for joining us tonight. We will be back again next Monday night. We will have a more detailed recaps of the 3 games we just mentioned, and we will be recapping the rest of the games that we have in our conferences? I'm going to ignore everything that Josh is doing right now.
He's doing 6-7. Like we haven't heard that whole thing enough.
I was ignoring it, Rob. I was ignoring it for a reason.
Oh, well, there you go, Ed. I'm glad I could help you out.
We got to be hip with the kids, Ed.
That's right, man.
Well, now I know what the kids do. Now I know what the kids feel like, and Ed's the parent, the adult in the room. Now I know it's kind of funny to see their reaction.
Yeah.
I thought I could help you out, Ed. That's all.
I think it's way to kill a dumb trend is for us to do it.
You've hurt you. Not only have you not helped out, you have flames. You've breathed oxygen into this thing that I never thought I would talk about on a podcast, but here we are.
All right, baby. Hey, if you want to stay tuned for Ed in overtime, he'll talk about 6-7 and how it came to life right here on Ed on Sports on Tap Overtime coming up
after dark.
We want to thank our sponsors.
That was a good transition. I like that.
I'm surprised that Eddie didn't say anything like that when he was up here. I was up at McDonald's play place yesterday, and him and a bunch of kids started doing that. I looked behind them, and I saw some of the parents. I just looked back there. I kind of like mouthed a certain word to them, like, "What the are they doing?"
Yeah, just shaking your head.
Yeah, and all the other parents were like, "Yep, we get it."
If he would have done that, man, we would have had to cut a promo out of that with little Eddie.
The good thing I guess the thing about social media now is that these things spike for a very short amount of time and then they fade very, very quickly.
Very true.
Things that were cool for us back in the day, it took a little bit longer for those to catch steam because it just didn't spread nearly as much. And they also didn't make South Park episodes about it.
Remember that one?
Yes.
That one?
Do you know what hasn't faded though?
Hold on. It's got to be under the waist.
Yeah, below the waist. I know, but I can't.
Do you know what hasn't really faded is Sports on Tap's high school football show. I mean, that show has been going on a long time. It's
especially
popular.
Today, it's been going on for a long time.
Yeah, way too long.
Should probably wrap it up.
Hey.
Yes, it has.
Here we are.
All right. Well, we want to thank everyone for listening. Thank everyone for watching. Thank everyone for listening. Make sure you can watch. You can watch the lesson on our archives at our YouTube channel. So that's Sports on Tap. Like and subscribe. Get those notifications when we're about to go live on the air. For Rob Troutman, Josh Jeffy, Noah Jacobson, and Sean Duffy, and the student athletes that were on with us earlier, my name is Ed Dick. This has been Sports on Tap's coverage of the high school football first round playoffs presented by Raymond Fountain State Farm Insurance. Stay tuned for more word from our sponsors, and we'll see you on the other side.
What a special group we have here, folks. Thanks for watching. Sports on Tap's high school football coverage is on every Monday night at 7:30 p.m. Watch live on YouTube and make sure to subscribe. Sports on Tap's high school football coverage is presented by Raymond Fountain State Farm.
Have you compared insurance rates lately? Are you satisfied with your current insurance provider? If not, look no further than Ray Felton State Farm, a proud sponsor of Sports on Tap. For a free quote, call his office at 234-284-2996 or visit him online at rayfelton.com.
Whether you're hosting a corporate event, wedding, conference, concert, or any other special gathering, our comprehensive range of services will exceed your expectations and elevate your event to new heights. RRT Productions. We shoot, we edit, you win. Visit our website at www.rrt-productions.com.
We've got the experience, the passion, and the beach to make your event a smash hit. Whether it's a romantic wedding, a lively sports venue, or a rocking high school dance, Troutland Entertainment has you covered. Contact them at 330-414-4261 or email them at troutlandent@gmail.com. That's troutlandent@gmail.com.
It's all about the deal at Brunswick Auto Mart. Save big this month with deals like this. Don't miss the Make This the Summer event and lease a new 2025 Ram 1500 Night Edition Crew Cab 4x4 with heated side mirrors, parking sensors, backup cam, Apple CarPlay, and lane departure warning for just $319 a month. Brunswick Auto Mart. Car buying made truly simple.